we have an update, a very exciting update to our speech analytics capabilities, and that's in the form of real-time speech analytics. So in addition to the 4 scenarios we reviewed, you can add another optional component with mining specific conditions and keywords and phrases and additional data in real time as the call happens and provide guidance or alerts. So let's look at an example. We're going back to the example of the new fees. We see that as a trend that's heating up. We saw that in our first scenario. So if we look at that, in this scenario, it can either replace the first scenario or use it in addition if you want to cover the real-time capability. So we can see that that trending up. So this is something new. Customers are calling in asking about the new fees. Agents may not be aware or know how to respond to it. Especially this could lead to churn. Customers may want to cancel. We saw that. So as we saw in the first scenario, I can go and explore the new fee trend right from the word cloud here, and I'm going to go to Analyze Interactions. This gives me the list of all the calls where these new fees were mentioned, and here's the list. Some of these are emotional, as we discussed. I can review the call here, or as I usually prefer is to actually see the full visual map of the call with the full transcription. And in this case, you can also see the actual agent's desktop as part of that, and that really adds some more context while we're reviewing the call. Here we go. So as you can see, we have the synchronized transcript, we have the full waveform and player with the keywords, and we have the visual of basically the video recording of the agent's desktop. We can also apply desktop and process analytics to capture fields from within that desktop as they're happening, and that can also help trigger the correct alert with the right context. So we know that this call, that as mentioned, discusses complaints, emotions, escalations, but importantly, it also talks about churn. So we're going to scroll down in the transcript before I play the call to find the area. Here we go. Marked in blue, close the account, close my account. There's discussions either further down also about closing the account. So definitely seems like a risk of customer churn. We know this is a call related to the new fees. That was how we found this with the new trend. And I'm going to listen. Let's start listening over here where the customer is kind of upset and talks about closing their account. Let's even go a little further down, a little bit after 5 minutes into the call.
Change your rules, but at the expense, really, of your customers who may not wish to meet your minimum requirements. Now
I'm going to pause here for a second. Notice that we reached the area where the customer is actually mentioning they want to close the account. Look what happens on the agent's desktop here to the right. This is in real time what is happening on the agent's desktop, and look what happens when the system identifies that close the account is being mentioned.
And I'll have to determine whether I should get out of it, close my account with you and take my loss.
Okay, so as the customer talks about or mentions certain phrases, in this case close the account, and the system is checking also, we know that this already has been discussing the new fees, so it's a new fees related call, and close the account is mentioned, and it's a preferred customer. In this case, it's a platinum customer, so we can check based on DPA or other metadata that this we know that the customer is a preferred customer. We don't want them to close the account. Then there's this pop-up that's guiding the agent in real time of basically authorizing them to give a $50 credit, basically waive this fee. I'm going to enlarge this so you can see it better. This is the pop-up that's coming up from the real-time speech analytics, and that could be very powerful when you have the right context. We want to make sure we know exactly, not every time just somebody says close the account, but if it's a relevant call, if it's a relevant customer, and we have the context, then we might want to provide a pop-up to the agent or send an alert in case this is a fraudulent situation. We can send this to somebody else in the organization to take immediate action as the call is still live. So this is a new capability, new addition. It is an add-on. It doesn't come necessarily with advanced speech analytics, but if you have advanced speech analytics and you want to add this capability as part of our new 15.1 recorder, it definitely can have a huge impact. So thank you.